Welcome to Innovation Brief by IdeaScale, where we turn your work team into innovators.
Have you ever thought about why some innovations they just become these huge cultural things and others, well, they just kind of disappear?
Yeah.
Today we're going to do a deep dive into those surprising things that really drive successful innovation.
Okay.
We'll look at things like the psychology behind what makes a brand addictive, the power of diversity, and even this interesting thing about social cohesion.
You know what's really interesting is that innovation is always challenging, right?
Yeah.
I mean, new ideas, they often need a whole new way of thinking.
Yeah.
People, I don't really change,
They don't.
And you can see that in history, when the car came out, or even Edison with that light bulb of his, even the internet.
It's we have to see the benefit before we can really get behind something we don't know.
Exactly. It's a very human thing to have trouble grasping, abstract concepts. And that's where these innovators, they come in, the ones with the passion, the vision.
Right.
Think about Edison, think about Bezos. They saw the problems in the world,
Yeah.
and they were driven to solve them. Edison, he saw the problems with the lighting back then.
Right.
And Bezos, well, he imagined how much e-commerce could really change things.
So it's more than just having a cool idea, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to connect to a real need.
Absolutely.
And you got to have the drive to make it happen.
Yeah, you got to be tenacious about it.
But here's something that I thought was really interesting. The role of social cohesion.
Okay.
It seems kind of counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
How could having a sense of unity, actually make progress go faster?
It is interesting when you look at it, you analyze this global innovation index and you see the strong link between where a country ranks in innovation and how cohesive their society is. It seems like when people have shared goals, shared values, there's more of a willingness to work together and to be open to those new ideas.
So are you saying that a shared sense of purpose leads to trust and then that leads to innovation?
That's a key insight.
Wow.
Look at those Nordic countries.
Okay.
High in both social cohesion and innovation consistently.
That's true.
And those shared values that they have, it makes an environment where it's okay to take risks.
Yeah.
And those benefits of innovation, well, they spread out more.
Okay, so we've got this passionate innovator. We've got this unified society.
Yeah.
But let's think about it from the consumer side for a second.
Okay.
Ultimately, whether an innovation takes off or not, it depends on people actually seeing the benefit of that innovation.
Yeah, it has to be adopted by people.
Right.
It doesn't matter if it's something like, artificial intelligence or some new gadget for your kitchen. The benefits that people see have to outweigh the drawbacks.
A good example is touchscreen smartphones. Remember when they first came out?
Yeah.
So many people were skeptical.
I know.
Now it's hard to even imagine life without them.
It really is.
Or think about the car.
Okay.
We know more and more about its environmental impact.
Yeah.
But people still see the convenience and the ability to go where they want, personal mobility, as more important.
For a lot of people, those benefits are more important.
It's all about what people perceive as valuable.
Yeah.
And that's where branding comes in.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not just about the product itself. It's about telling a story that people connect with on an emotional level.
Exactly. Those successful brands, they create this kind of addiction, by connecting with people emotionally.
Wow.
Look at Starbucks.
Okay.
Where they put their stores and how they make it a ritual, the whole morning coffee run.
Yeah.
They've become a part of everyday life.
Right.
Then you've got brands like Nike, McDonald's. They made iconic figures.
It's true.
And they've tapped into this basic human need to belong.
To be part of a community, yeah.
It goes way beyond just the products themselves.
It really does.
They become part of our identities. They influence our choices, sometimes even without us realizing it.
It's true.
They tap into our aspirations. They create a shared experience that really resonates with their target audience.
We talk a lot about the importance of diversity and innovation.
We do.
But this adds a whole new layer of complexity.
It does. Diversity in design and engineering, it's so crucial to make sure that innovations are working for a lot of different people, meeting different needs,
Right.
avoiding bias, creating products that are inclusive.
Yeah.
Think about facial recognition, all the ethical stuff around that, and the trouble it has with accuracy across different ethnicities.
Yeah, true.
Or even historically, how we didn't have enough female representation in crash test dummies.
Wow.
And that had real consequences.
It did.
Having diversity in the development process isn't just about being fair.
Right.
It actually leads to better innovation, more thoughtful innovations.
That meet the needs of more people.
Exactly.
So we've seen that successful innovation, it's a mix of things.
Yeah.
Passion, social cohesion, perceived benefits, and really smart branding.
Yeah,
But there's something else here too, isn't there?
I think so.
It's about going beyond just what a product does. You know its features.
You're right. You know, the most innovative brands.
Yeah.
They get the power of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
They create those iconic figures. They establish rituals.
Right.
They get those deep emotional needs that we've been talking about. They understand that people want to connect, to belong.
Right.
And they offer that through their brand experience.
So it's like innovative brands are actually like curating experiences that shape not just what we like, but also our identities.
It really is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about the brands that have really impacted your life.
Okay.
They probably reflect your values,
Right.
your aspirations,
Yeah.
even your sense of self.
Yeah. It's amazing to think about how brands can be so powerful, like they're shaping our stories.
It's true. The brands we use, especially when we're young, they really stick with us.
Right.
They shape our tastes, our
Yeah.
values, even like where we feel like we belong.
Our source material mentioned this thing about people looking back fondly on brands from when they were kids.
Yeah.
And they connect them to like simpler times, good memories.
Exactly. Those brands, they become part of our personal history and shape how we see things. And it makes you realize that these innovators, they have a big responsibility.
Right.
What they create can have a huge ripple effect on society.
It's a powerful concept that a brand could like change culture as a whole.
Yeah.
Are you saying it's like a two-way street? We influence brands and they influence us?
Exactly. We can see how brands change over time. You know, they adapt to society and what consumers want.
Right.
It's this delicate balance between keeping what makes them unique and also staying relevant as the world changes.
It's like that quote from our source. The most innovative brands adeptly balance the legacy they carry against the relentless tide of pervasive innovation.
Yeah, it shows how important it is to understand a brand's strengths and weaknesses. Not every brand needs to be everything for everybody.
Right. You wouldn't expect a Ferrari to be like the best family car, would you?
No.
It's a niche brand for people who want performance and prestige.
Exactly. Different brands fill different needs. The key is figuring out your niche and being the best at meeting those expectations.
But even within that niche, there's room to innovate, right?
Yeah.
Like adapting to what people want, but keeping that core identity.
Totally. Think about how Mercedes-Benz has kept that image of luxury and performance while making electric and sustainable cars.
That's true.
It's about evolution, not revolution.
It's like walking a tightrope, staying relevant without losing what makes the brand special.
The brands that do that well, they become iconic. They reach a level of cultural importance that goes way past their products or services.
So we've talked about brand addiction storytelling, finding your niche, and this feedback loop between brands and people.
Right.
Let's bring it back to the individual for a sec.
Okay.
How do brands actually shape who we are?
That's where things get really interesting. Our experiences with brands, especially when we're young, they affect what we like and even how we see ourselves, think about what we wear, what we eat, what we drive.
Yeah.
Those choices often say something about who we want to be.
The source material had this example about grandparents talking about brands they remember from their youth.
Yeah.
Those brands become woven into their stories and represent a specific time and set of values.
It's nostalgia. They make people feel comfortable and remind them of who they are and where they come from.
And it seems like these innovators, they need to think about that impact.
Yeah.
Whether it's a new technology or a fashion trend, it can shape not just individual lives, but society too.
It's a huge responsibility. It makes you ask some serious questions for anyone who's making something new. What kind of legacy are we creating? What values are we promoting? Are we connecting people and being inclusive? Or just creating things that will be gone tomorrow?
Those are big questions, but important ones if we want to make things that have a positive impact that lasts.
The brands that connect with people are the ones that understand not just how to make things, but also the human heart.
Right. They tap into our feelings, our dreams, and our need to be part of something bigger.
And by doing that, they make a legacy that goes beyond just products and trends. They become part of what connects us all.
So it's not just about making something new, it's about making something with meaning.
Yeah.
Something that people connect with on a deeper level and adds to the story of what it means to be human.
Exactly. It's about making a real difference in the world, not just a temporary one.
It's wild how these choices we make, the colors, the logos, the stories, they can have such a huge effect on people's lives.
And what's remarkable is that sometimes the smallest things make the biggest difference, like those little rituals, those seemingly unimportant moments. Those are what make a brand part of our lives.
Like Starbucks putting their stores near highway exits, knowing people will want coffee on their commute.
Precisely. It's about understanding people knowing what they need and creating experiences that just work without them even thinking about it.
And think about McDonald's. No matter where you go, you know what to expect when you walk in. There's something comforting about that.
Absolutely. Consistency makes people trust you, and that's the foundation of any good relationship. And in the end, the most successful brands are the ones that build those connections and loyalty with their customers.
So it's not just about making a product or a service, it's about making a relationship.
A relationship that needs attention and needs to change as things change. The brands that do well are the ones that keep innovating and evolving while staying true to who they are and meeting the needs of their audience.
It's hard to do, but that's what makes some brands last and others fade away, the ones that truly make a difference.
The ones that make us think and feel and connect in ways we never imagined.
That's what makes exploring innovation so interesting. It's not just about technology, it's about being human. It's about knowing how people feel, what drives them, and making connections that go beyond just buying and selling.
It's about understanding that we're all part of a bigger story, a story that keeps changing, and we each have the power to add to that story, to shape the world with our ideas, our actions, and the brands we choose.
Makes you think about the brands that have really shaped your life, doesn't it?
It does, and it begs the question,
What's that?
what kind of impact do you want to make on the world? Every innovation, it starts with an idea,
Yeah,
and every innovator wants to leave their mark.
that's so true. And you know what? You can turn your work team into innovators with IdeaScale.
It's true. IdeaScale gives you the platform to, capture, develop, and make those groundbreaking ideas a reality.
So book a demo for a free trial at IdeaScale.com and start shaping the future today.
And don't forget to join us for our next deep dive into the world of innovation.
That's right.
We release new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. See you then.